Welcome to another day of Be Agile Scrum, and this is day 5 of Agile Scrum. Let's get started straight because where we had left, we were discussing last time on Scrum roles and sprint planning. So we have discussed few roles like up to stakeholder. We had discussed. So we will be discussing before that as well. But before we do so, let's go ahead and understand what is our goal and how it can be protected. So let me know that how many of you remember what is one goal for which we are here together. Anyone can give this answer.
To get into the place.
To get into the
Yes.
job.
Thank you so much for remembering this, to get placed, and that's the reason we need to protect it, because this is the bigger goal and that requires protection. With the time, it is quite natural and possible that the goal itself will fade away, but let's not get it faded away, and that's what it does. Code of honor to protect it, to remind all of us, and this reminder is quite necessary. So the very first one is to practice showing up live on time, being punctual and highly committed, because it is said that how you do anything is how you do everything. And this practice makes you perfect towards after getting placed in corporate of America. You won't miss any meetings like that, or you won't be delayed for those meetings because you have already practiced these three traits over here. So second one is being the full stack student. Why? Because you have started to get placed before the very first pillar of Guru School, that is instructor-led free training, and that makes you student, but not just to be student. You need to become a full stack student who requires to do all the assignments which are given, do self research, and repeat whatever you have learned. Uh, and the third item, our third core value, is that taking the full responsibility. It is quite easy when you are following all the events and all the assignments and doing all the activities which are asked to do, so you start attracting the result. Okay, when you start attracting that, you head towards the success. But the same time, when you don't do so, you don't attract success. And until unless you don't take the responsibility by your own self for this failure, you are not going to correct them up. You are not going to restart doing all those activity which has been asked to do so. So the moment you take the responsibility of this failure, it starts becoming the trail for this success. So always you are encouraged to taking the full responsibility, wherein success also comes, failure also come. That is backed by the kind of assignment you do or you don't do. So the fourth one is on this, while this is all happening, you always are encouraged to have a positive mindset. And in this learning continuity, you requires the learning mindset. And while this is happening, make sure that you have made yourself complaint free and loaded yourself with the lots of gratitude. And fifth one is that to start it, you need to start getting more receptive towards the gratitude. And how you can do that, the audio track which has been given to you, to understand at better level that how you can serve closely once you get placed, what should be the core intent after getting placed once you start working. That supports are given through this audio track, which is called Stranger Secret. In case by any chance you have not started listening to it, this is a 30 days listening. You can anytime reach out to me and ask for this audio track, put that into X mode and start listening and start seeing the result. The more you will listen. It is recommended to listen to it thrice in a day by Earl himself. But I understand the time crunch, and for that I will start with once. Okay, and the second one is golden quadrant of learning. Very, very important. While you are learning over here, the fundamental rule is that start with declaration. And the moment you declare, start learning. And the moment you're done with one chapter learning, one lesson learning, draw it. The moment you draw it, then and there post learning, After that, within 24 hours, you can summarize it. That retains all the information in your memory and gives you more command to express it out. Okay, so this is the complete quadrant you must follow. So are you ready to start learning? If yes, then can you see this highlighted statement on the screen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you so much. So on the count of three, what we are going to do, set an anchor by giving a self high five, that is nothing but a clap, and then repeating after me what I am going to utter. Okay, that is the highlighted statement. So 1, 2, 3, and clap. I am a quick learner.
I am a quick
I'm a
learner.
quick learner.
Let's not start this without a clap. This is a very important anchor. If you'll miss it, you will miss the impact. Again, once again, 1, 2, 3, and self high five. I am a quick learner.
Quick learner.
I'm a quick learner.
What others can learn and master,
What others
What
can learn
others
and
can
master.
learn and master.
I too can do that.
I too
I
can do
too
that.
can do that.
And once again, you are going to do a self high five and repeat after me what I'll utter. 1, 2, 3, and go. Because I am an awesome learner,
Because I'm
Because I'm an awesome learner.
today's learning is going to be super duper easy to me.
today's
Today's
learning
learning
is
is
super duper easy to me.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Again, let me tell you another universal law along with this. Why do we do this with the physical involvement? Because it is said that physical is memorable. So remember this. So we need to do so. So what is that? Physical is
Memorable.
memorable. Thank you so much. And the sixth one is that while you are doing so, be a giver. And when you are giving, when you are learning, give your ego away. That makes you more spiritual grounded and more receptive. And while this is happening, remember that once you start earning, start and intend to give away. That is to do charity. Charity you can do wherever, in whatever cause you believe in. Generally, my students do 5% or 10% of giveaway or charity every single week if they are earning weekly, or if you are earning monthly, you are requested to do charity of 5% to 10%. Why? Because the more you give, the more you grow, the more you receive, more you survive. Okay, so that you are not just giving away for surviving. You have intent to grow, and in case you are not earning today, then at least have an intention that I'll do it once I get placed. So don't just have an intention to with the intent to grow, but also this have this intention to inspire others. Okay, because they may join this invisible movement. And why you're when you are doing so, appreciate whatever you do and what others do for you. Even what does not happen to you, always remember this is the first step which is preparing you for the next step. Why you need to appreciate these all? Because what you appreciate appreciates you back. So again, this is the another universal law. So let me share from where we have to begin. So by the way, I went through the videos, the assignments you have done. I straight away give the feedback. Someone wants to speak up something before I begin? Okay, so the silence is no. So we are going to discuss about Scrum Ceremony today. Okay, so quickly see that. Can you see my screen, the PPT? Everyone?
Yes.
Yeah. So the very important ceremony we have been discussing since last time was sprint planning. And in fact, we will be working on it, and we will be looking at it at more detailed level today. Okay. So in this class, the main purpose behind this ceremony, so there are four ceremony: a Scrum Ceremony, it's a sprint planning, and then it's a daily stand-up or daily Scrum, then it's a sprint review meeting, and then it is called sprint retrospective. So we will quickly run through them. So the main purpose behind sprint planning is create the sprint backlog item and then identify the sprint goal that the entire Scrum team is committing to over the course of the sprint. Means your backlog item is visible. In sprint planning, what do? You prioritize them. Okay. And who can attend it? So entire Scrum team can attend it. So quickly tips and tricks are there that encourage the team to discuss and negotiate each item related to the sprint goal. Sketching can be helpful. See here also it is encouraged to draw. So this is helpful. Ensure the product backlog has been ordered. It has to come into sequence. How it will come in order? People will give based on one reference point, one based on one backlog item, they will give some estimate to the another story point or another backlog item. How does it happen? You are going to learn it in coming few days. Okay. And then once the sprint goal is set, it can be broken by the product owner, but should remain relevant throughout the course of the sprint. Always remember, any big chunk of information will be further broken down, and make sure that at the end becomes an actionable item. So second one we are looking at is daily Scrum. As you know, 3 items we discuss over here. What you did in last 24 hours or last 8 hours, what you are going to plan today, and is there any impediment or any bottleneck you have experienced which requires to be resolved. Only 3 items you need to discuss. In case someone starts explaining or giving you solution of the problem, always remember has to be taken offline or after that 15 minutes of stand-up meeting. And literally when it is called stand up, it means you need to stand up. If you are meeting this in person, and in case you are remotely distributed, globally distributed, you can always switch on your camera and discuss. Sometime we do what in till previous batch, in means before previous batch, we used to switch on sometime in between camera, and we used to discuss this. Or all of a sudden, not it is always, because it is always reaching midnight for you guys, so I understand. So who can attend it? So Scrum Master and production team, product owner and outside stakeholder are optional. They so these people are optional, but remaining all can attend it. So quick tips and trick is there. Be sure the team can see each other. Yes. If you are remote, use a video conferencing tool like Zoom or Google Meet, whatever. Don't let this meeting turn into a verbal status report. Encourage team members to get together after the daily scrum to discuss, and teams that require additional conversation. Why you need to know this? So can someone tell me why you need to know this? So Disha, Sharda, Prajakta, Elizabeth, any one of you, can you tell me why you need to know? Radha, Ruby, Sneha, Tejaswini. Any answer quickly? Whoever can speak can go first.
Sir, can you just repeat the question again?
Oh,
Why you
okay.
need to know whether, I'm sorry, I'm just confused.
Okay. So I'll keep on taking your name, and I can randomly go and ask you. And that's the reason it is quite natural and necessary to remain very attentive. Sure, I'm going to do so. And thank you for responding and asking me to repeat. So who else can tell that what I have asked?
Maybe this is the exact reason, so it doesn't get monotonous, and
Exactly.
yeah, everybody pays attention and take up the most important points.
True, Tejaswini, very, very true. And sometime you never know, you are even working as a business analyst, which is going to start soon, that what business analyst needs to know. You are also asked to run this as a Scrum Master. So this is never ever allowed. But what will happen once you will get placed, and for the sake of job, you will have to do this. Okay. It is not the protocol. Do you understand? Are you getting my point? Prajakta, Elizabeth, and Radha, and Ruby, and Sneha, and Tejaswini,
Yes.
Disha,
Yes.
Sharda.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So that's the reason you well said. So yes, that's the reason you need to know this. And then comes what? Sprint review. Okay. So can someone tell me what happens in sprint review? Who can tell me? What do you understand by sprint review? It's a common sense. By using common sense, you can tell me.
And
Yes, definitely.
those are the high priority backlogs and the high priority. We put them in the first list or something.
Okay, Sneha.
Yeah,
So
before you all start, just a small tip. There is an answer in the name itself.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
if
in
you
the
just think
sprint
over
review,
it,
they do what
Actually,
the
in
work
sprint
done and how
review,
it is
the work
working. They
done
will
is
review and they will
demonstrated
discuss
to.
it.
Radha, Radha, can you just tell? You were just speaking up, so I picked your name.
Yeah, in sprint review, the Scrum Master and the team will discuss about the meetings. I mean, in the Scrum meet daily stand-up meeting, what they did and how it will work. They will discuss about the
All right, someone has raised
Can I
the
tell the answer?
yes,
Sharda.
Tejaswini. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what you said, Radha, that was for mainly daily Scrum. Tejaswini had raised her hand. No. So okay. So
Yes.
Sharda,
Yes.
yes. Okay. Yes, Tejaswini, go ahead.
Okay. So in the sprint review, once I mean the Scrum team along with the stakeholders, they both discuss on what was the requirement actually and how they are progressing, and if I mean how that was taken so far, and what is expected to be like, what further they are going to present.
Very close.
This
Can
Very
I tell
close.
the answer?
Yes, yes,
Sharda.
Sharda. Yeah.
In sprint review, actually, the product owner, he would make sure that the right customers and the stakeholders are present in the meeting. And the product is demonstrated, product that is the potentially shippable product
Mhm.
that is demonstrated to the stakeholders and the customers for them to give feedback about that so that they can make necessary corrections for the next sprint.
Exactly. You are spot on. Thank you so much for answering. Yes, whatever Sharda said is 100% right. Review is nothing but something has been achieved, already done. You are presenting it to the customer mainly for the feedback. Okay. How did they like it? They may also suggest something which you might incorporate. This just happens before the sprint is over, and is shippable, is ready to move, and you are going to enter and graduate to the new sprint. So before new sprint starts, very before the new sprint starts, it has to be summarized. Okay, and before that it gets summarized, you need to review it. As the name suggests, review means you are going to sit with someone and you are going to review how it has been developed. So does it make sense, everyone? So review is the demonstration. So does it make sense, everyone?
Yes.
yes.
Yeah, thank you so much. So quickly understand who can attend this meeting is entire Scrum team plus certain managers, stakeholders, customer, and other developers. Now, if you become the part of BA, sometime it becomes your responsibility to start demonstrating against certain acceptance criteria. What are these acceptance criteria? We are going to look at it in coming few days. Okay. And the quick tips and tricks are ensure that any outside stakeholders know where they need to be, when, and get the room prepped. So it is done by Scrum Master. Okay. This room preparation and facilitation where this meeting will happen. The production team should not feel like they are defending their work. Prep to ensure they are able to shine and capture actionable feedback as uh, items in the backlog. So give me a moment. I need to just quickly wear my specs. So I think it's recently added to my eyes. So yes, so that's fine. So any question till here, guys? Are we good till here?
Yes.
Okay. So let's move further to the another one that is called as this one, sprint retrospective. So what is retrospective? Any guesses, loud guesses other than Sharda? I'm not going to ask Sharda.
Feedback.
Okay. So what
Analysis
else?
of our own work.
Analysis of own work. That's true. Okay. So
See
without,
what worked. Okay.
yes,
Inspect and
Changes or
exactly,
Quick
see what.
exactly.
fast check.
adjustment.
You
Quick
all are
fast
right.
check.
Oh, yes, you all are right. As the name suggests, retro is about the past. Spective means inspection. Okay. So in past, you are going to inspect. So past activity is going to be inspected. What you did well, what you did not do well. Are you going to learn something, and can you jot down those learning and can think that you can incorporate those learning in the coming sprint? And this entire thing is very well articulated in the one of the summary by Sharda. Okay, so you can refer that summary video as well. So the main purpose behind this is that allow the team to inspect itself and plan for improvement in the next sprint. Yes, that's the improvement is always the motto behind every sprint retrospective. It's very easy to remember. It's retro and inspection. What you are going to inspect? The retro item. Okay, the attendees who can attend it other than product owner, uh, product owner is optional. Other than product owner, rest entire scrum team can attend it. The production team can attend it, and scrum master. So in production, what happens, you get to see the few tickets means few bugs or few newly added features are generally addressed. Okay, it could be one single item that itself become the project. So we will be talking again about the items and bugs in coming few days. Okay, so tips and tricks are quickly what? Don't allow people to point fingers and play the blame game. Create a safe space for people to provide their honest feedback. Use games and different questions to mix things up and reduce monotony. Make sure any actionable suggestion is captured, assigned, and tracked. As a scrum master, you all should very much clear that this retrospective does not become a blame game, that we lack this and that's the reason behind someone acted like this. Okay, instead you should say the learning you have. Okay, I have learned this thing by observing an incident happened during this sprint by one of the team member, and I think we should take this into consideration. So and as a scrum master, you can facilitate this meeting based on the games. You can introduce some games, online offline games, and you can have this completely facilitated. Yes, Sharda, you have some questions, Sharda?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yeah.
It's like what once the sprint is completed, suppose if that sprint was a failure and the team was not able to reach or is up to the mark. So what do they do next in the retrospective? Do they discuss about it or how does that go? I just want to know about that.
Exactly. The moment they identify what is the reason behind the failure or not that success, if they themselves are not satisfied, they write down, they jot down the actionable item, what they can do to make it better for next time, whatever they have learned. Generally, how do they practice? There is a tool called Wiki or Confluence for every single project, and nowadays every single company are assigning it. They go then and there while discussion is happening, jot them down those useful item for the next sprint to incorporate. And again, when the next sprint starts up, these are taken into consideration during the sprint planning meeting. Okay, and thereby all the another prioritized backlog item are accordingly gets moved.
Gaurav, I would like to add something
Please go
here
ahead,
with
Prerna.
respect to. So, see, girls, these ceremonies are more or less an opportunity for the entire Scrum team to come together and have a genuine thought process about their work. Okay, as we are learning agile is not only about faster and quicker delivery and customer satisfaction, but as we know, these teams are highly skilled, and they are closely knit, and they are working in a very tight schedule. So for them, self improvement and overall improvement in the implementation of process is very important. Okay, why am I saying this? Because in a sprint retrospective event or a ceremony, the majority of the discussion happens on how did we deliver in this sprint, how how could it be done better, what could have been avoided, what could have been done in a more significant way, that the speed of the delivery can improve, the quality of delivery can improve. So when we say retrospective, that simply means that you want to work on yourself to be better. So this ceremony for agile team to improve the for further improvement, that is one of the core intentions, along with the overall discussion of how we worked and what we learned. There are many things team learn during a particular sprint delivery. There might be some technology oriented or process oriented or overall learning about the customer. So that is why this is a very important ceremony or event, wherein everyone comes together and shares their understanding and their learnings, right? This is exactly what we do when we give any particular exam, and when we come home, we just check the question paper and ensure how much marks, just have a hypothetical calculation of what all marks will get. So we know that where we stand. If that's a unit test, we understand, okay, we are good in this particular chapters, and we need to study more for those another chapters for the semester. So kind of on similar grounds, but then this is a quite a deeper level. Everybody is contributing towards their own about their own work understanding and how it can be done better. Because agile is all about giving the best delivery in the shortest span with the highest quality. So just try to think from that point of view. That's it, Gaurav. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Please go
thank
ahead.
you. So did it answer you well, Shada? Can we move?
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
I
Yes,
got it. Thank you.
Elizabeth, you have some question. Please go ahead.
Yes, is this ceremony time boxed?
Exactly. Every single ceremony is time boxed. So even you will be learning about this, that how much time is required for this. Okay,
Okay, thank you.
cool. Welcome. So yes, it should not go beyond this ceremony. When retrospective meeting should not go more than 90 minutes. So yes, let's understand this in better way. So when we plan the scrum, what happens? We have list of the product backlog. Okay, we have latest increment which we have done and move to the new one to consider. Velocity and capacity of development team is considered. What is velocity, capacity, and of development team? We will be talking about it in detail in coming days. However, I'll be also releasing one YouTube video explaining this. You can go through this. Okay, this has to more to do with estimation, okay, of every product backlog item. So then in sprint planning, we generally discuss this, what we will do, what we will be achieving, and how we will be achieving. Okay, and the output is the sprint goal. It is in front of us as a to-do list. Okay, means it is immediately actionable item. So if we'll talk understand that in scrum sprint, everything takes a form of ticket. So when we are talking about the ticket, it means every single item, whatever even you can think of, okay, that becomes even the action item. If so, understand how this flows. A bigger goal, say for example XYZ bank approaches your company, IT company, and ask you to develop the whole banking system for XYZ company, XYZ bank. So the whole banking system in itself is a big project. Okay, now in whole banking system, you are going to ask what all they need in the priority. They would say, I want online banking to be incorporated, I want NEFT or RTGS or ACH or other facility to be enabled for customer, I want customer data should be uploaded, and we whatnot. So they will just brief what all they want, and every single thing become the product backlog item, and that will be written down as just a name of the module, what customer want, and if you want to describe, you can describe in detail, like how it is. If you'll go back in somewhere, like we are going to discuss this, how a name of a headline of a plate or headline of a ticket is given over here, and its explanation. In the similar manner, in a project management tool, you will be punching a headline or one heading and then description of it, and sometime it also comes with the due dates, when it can be due, or when it is anticipated to be delivered, or something like that. More details you can describe, how long hours will take. But again, this event ticket will be broken down further, as small as it will take the shape of one quickly actionable item. So but before that, what this is called, this entire goal is also called as epic. What is the word?
Epic.
Exactly.
Epic.
Exactly. The word is epic, and then epic is further broken down into small features or requirement, and that is broken down into user story, and those user story will have also acceptance criteria, how to design it, what is it, we are going to look at it as well. So you see, here are some requirements broken down in the small blocks. Those are also called as product backlog item. Can you see them on the screen, please? Everyone?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Only one person
Yes.
can see? Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
All can
Yes.
see. Thank you. So come and once before it we start working, we pick few of them, we prioritize them, and that is called as sprint backlog. Okay, and that has been taken the shape of, again, user story and actionable item, and then we continue to plan on it. Okay, every single day we work and we talk about three things: what we did, what we did not do, and what we are going to do in next coming day.
Obstacles or impediments.
Yes, exactly, you are right. Obstacle and bottleneck or impediments. And then
Impediments.
yeah, we are going to review them. Review them means a kind of a demo in front of customer, and once that is done, that is marked as done. Okay, and then we retrospect on that, and these completed feature will be incremented and they will be shipped to the customer, so that we can move to the next sprint. Okay, now understand in a more detailed level what is sprint in the Scrum. Still now you all know that this is a time-boxed iteration of a development cycle, broken project into small and consistent time interval, as short as few days and as long as 4 weeks. Can call a sprint goal a project in itself due to start and finish record it gives. Okay, so any single item can be a project in itself, and sometime when you are working in a sprint, consider that a part of project or a project itself. Okay, so here you see that every sprint is time box. It has got a start date fixed, end date fixed, and if one sprint has the start date and end date and duration is the fixed, understand every increment of the coming sprint will be again time box and almost of equal length. If you decide to work in one sprint for 10 working days, that is the 2 weeks, every single sprint will follow to be 2 weeks only. It cannot go beyond it. So are you getting my point, ladies? Did you get what just now I
Yes.
said? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes.
I have a question.
Please go ahead and ask.
What if the task taken is not being able to complete in 2 weeks? Then they have to go for third week. So then what are they
Ye-
going to do?
Okay, so it may happen sometime you estimate advance. Okay, sometime you may not work completely. Sometime it may happen that one module you have completed and it has certain bugs which can take time. Just give me a second. Yeah, it can take time to be addressed. Okay, we can definitely defer them for the coming days, but it should not be of high priority which you have not touched and you have not delivered. But somehow any constraint is there, you are going to notify about it to the customer. Okay, and you are going to tell them that you have planned to take them up in the upcoming sprint. Now this activity, before you yourself decide that in upcoming sprint when it is going to be delivered, your product owner is going to decide whether to accommodate this immediate in next coming sprint, or it requires to be addressed in some another sprint. It will be completely decided by customer, because he is in continuous touch with customer and he understand the priority and the severity of it, when to include, when not to include. But definitely if something which cannot be achieved in the existing sprint has to be communicated. So does it answer your query, Sharda?
Yeah.
Yeah, so be very confirm and assured enough that you yourself is not going to take a call as a scrum master or development team or business analyst, that you are if you have left some item, you are going to incorporate in immediately upcoming sprint. So let it decide by a product owner, and he is going to include it in upcoming sprint, in whatever sprint he wants to. So to balance between the need to release rapidly, allowing enough time to complete a useful amount of work in every sprint. So once an appropriate length is found, it is typically stays the same. That's what I was mentioning you, that every sprint will be of equal length. Okay, so what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to come back on, just now I have shared something. So Prerna, do you want to add something? Because I'm just transitioning and flipping to the new slide.
Gaurav, if you ask me, it's more about understanding, and you have explained it quite well. So I just want to highlight to everyone that all the sprint ceremonies, it can be review, retrospective meetings, sprint planning. Try to understand about all these ceremonies as a getting together with by team for the overall productive discussions. Okay, this is not any other discussion that happens among the teams, but even in review you just showcase your work to your customer, you wait for their feedback, and all this is happening in a very positive yet productive manner. Whatever feedback you get in the review, whatever what all feedback you receive from each other and yourself in the retrospective, that has to be worked upon. Okay, it's not only you're getting the feedback and you're not doing anything with it. So you basically, these are your learnings that you will implement in a better way in the next season, next sprint. Also, there are times when particular sprint might not be completed, but then it also has some of the reasoning behind it. Many a time customer comes and tells that their priority has changed, or they want a particular functionality which was not a part of this sprint, so that can be taken up. And also, you don't say yes in front of the customer right away. You always go back to your seniors, like your scrum master, your product owner, and if required, if that ask is quite big, it involves more time, money, or efforts, you can check with the senior manager, and along with their yeses, you go ahead and work on that task. So in such a scenario, your earlier low priority task stays in the background. So that kind of things happen in real life, but that has to be managed. So if you ask me, for this entire process, communication is the key. The communication with the customer, communication within team, within development team, with seniors, with product owner, with scrum master, so that is all what we have to learn. And even the ceremonies are uh, to enable to have a better communication and better understanding of our overall delivery. So if you have any doubts, do reach out to us. But this is what
Yes.
the expectation of understanding we have with all of you. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah,
Yes,
Gaurav.
thanks, Prerna. So all of you are with us so far. Yeah, Sneha, Tejaswini, Sharda,
Yes.
Ruby, and
Yes.
Prajakta. Yeah, sure.
Sir, I just
Yes.
have one quick question.
Okay, go
So
ahead.
what if in the middle of a sprint, your sprint backlog is all like it's decided, it's set, and you
Mhm,
are just working. In case something, some product that you've delivered, in the past, and
mhm,
now there is some kind of defect, and it's like it's
mhm.
very urgent, like say you're not able to log in or something, where you just can't proceed. And so then how do they adjust all that? Because like you have already estimated the time, everything, like, and the client like needs it done, because without that, like, the customer will not be able to access it. So where do they adjust all this and how?
Okay, so understand this. The moment such kind of alert comes in, okay, and it's Ruby, right?
Yes,
Ruby
yes,
is,
sir.
yeah,
Yes,
Ruby.
yes.
So if any such kind of result or alert comes in that something has become the blocker, so it has to be first identified by by your internal team, not by the customer. Okay, so before anything reaches to the customer, it has to be identified by your internal testing team. Say for example, if it has not been identified, the internal team, because it could be the environmental issue. Okay, so the moment it reaches to the customer, it is always into the shippable mode. Okay, so until unless customer does not gives us a green that okay, we have received it and it is working fine, so we are expecting some answers, okay, from the customer, that he can say it is green or red or anything. So the moment say for example, as you said that in past we have done it and it blocks it. Okay, so it should not be the very past. It should not be that 2 days two sprint before we had shipped an item and it has become the block. So understand what gets blocked. The moment you say block, it means that entire system has been collapsed. Okay, customer cannot do anything, and means all the time and effort is getting in vain. So that has to be addressed very well. And the moment it comes back from the comebacks from client, it's BA's responsibility or tester's responsibility, the test lead's responsibility to quickly check what is the root cause behind it. Okay, convey back, create a ticket out of it, convey back to the team. A team can patch it out. Okay, so it has to be addressed immediately if nothing is progressing further. So does it make sense? So, and that is done in that sprint itself, and it has been guided by the product owner always. So without product owner we cannot proceed, and for that always the processes are set in such scenario how team is going to respond. Did it
Okay.
did I address your question?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so yes, that is a very vital scenario, and we happen to experience such things. Okay, so yes, so understand the sprint planning. Coming back over here, so this is something everyone should know and experience what Ruby has just now asked. And I think there was one more question, someone was has raised hand. So yes, Disha, go ahead and ask.
I have a question, like who decide the sprint time box? Product owner or the Scrum Master?
So time box is as in,
Like the time period, duration, like 14 days or 10 days for the
okay,
each sprint. Who decide that?
so if you are asking that for entire sprint, how long it is going to take, the 2 weeks, 1 week, 4 weeks, what I'm telling continuously, you are asking for that for the entire sprint.
Yes.
Okay, so it is product owner who is going to freeze it, that 1 week, and based on the velocity of the sprint velocity. Okay, what is velocity? Again, in the past, how long how long one reference user story or reference sprint had taken time to be delivered, and on what date and how soon customer is anticipating further delivery. So based on that, he freezes whether it is going to be 1 week, 2 week, 3 week, or 4 week. So there are more
Yes.
questions coming
I
up.
would just
Yes,
like to
Disha.
add here, if this is a particular interview question, and when they ask you who makes the decision, then right, you have to start with a product owner, considering the earlier experiences and development cycles. But it has to be along with or taking in consideration from input with from overall development team and Scrum Master also, because they are the team who are working on a day-to-day basis. So their inputs is highly important, though the decision is taken by the product owner. Yeah.
I see. Thank you.
Sharda, did we answer you?
Oh, no. I
Okay,
have
not
another
Sharda,
question.
Disha, sorry. Disha,
Disha.
did we answer you?
Yes, definitely.
Thank you. Yes, Sharda, go ahead.
Can we change the course of the sprint once it's decided?
What do you mean by the course of sprint?
Or maybe once everything is decided what we can do in the sprint and we started working on it, and in between if the customer or the he pops up and says like he want to change the course of the sprint, like how it is going, so can they change it in between, maybe
That's
after of
that's fine. Customer pops up and says that he wants to change the course. Course means, is it he wants to introduce some new changes, or
yeah.
he? Okay. So if generally what happens, such kind of situation appears, and customer tries to approach to some center point of contact. He may directly approach to business analyst, because he is more visible as well. So it is not business analyst role that who is going to tell that we are going to accept it or not accept it. He always conveys and tells that will pass this info to our product owner, let him come back to you. Now you have to convey these all entire things to your product owner. Okay, and let product owner decide when to accommodate it, when not to accommodate it. But in between it doesn't happen. Okay, once sprint goal is decided, it is going to achieve. Even he doesn't want it, he want or she wants to exclude it in the coming course of item, it can be excluded, or based on the communication product owner has, product owner can go ahead and quickly defer the product backlog item. So it is his responsibility what product owner has to decide. Does it answer you, Sharda?
So if once the sprint is decided, after that it has nothing to do with the Scrum Master. The Scrum Master's role is just to see on how it is going. Is that it, what you're saying?
So yeah, Scrum Master's responsibility is to just facilitate all the ceremony. He does not have to intervene in the changes, what is coming, what is not coming. This is all product owner's headache. Okay, he has to take a decision what to get pushed and what not to get pushed. Okay, if a sprint goal is there, he is going to decide what is going to be done.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome, Shada. So guys, let's go ahead, and we have a lot to cover. So let's speed it up. So understand now the very first ceremony, which is called as sprint planning. So what exactly happens in sprint planning? We discuss what to achieve and how to achieve. So the product owner describes the complete objective, as I was just answering to Sharda. So this is only product owner who is going to decide which backlog item can be picked based on the priority he has understood from the stakeholder, from the customer, and he understands the goal completely from the customer points of view, and he shares what is the priority list. He can also explain you one product backlog item, but he is not going to create the entire flow, entire thing, entire user story. He can just explain you the feature. Okay, so this is what exactly happens in sprint planning meeting. We decide a goal, that how to achieve and what to achieve and who all are going to achieve together. So while this is happening, let me quickly tell you that we also time box it, as a sprint is for 5 weeks, or sorry, 1 week or 2 week or 3 week or 4 week. Just now we have just gone through this slide, and who all are involved in sprint planning meeting is very, very important. Product owner has to be there, okay, because he identify the candidate product backlog item. So always you happen to receive few hear few music, I mean to say few keywords, like it is always called as either ticket or candidate or item. Okay, so product owner identifies these candidate product backlog items and their relative priority, as well as proposes a sprint goal that at the end of the goal, at end of the sprint, these all has to be achieved. The team members determine how many of the product backlog item they forecast they will be able to complete, and determine how they will deliver those product backlog items. As it is mentioned that the team has to be what? Self-organizing team and highly motivated, highly skilled team. So this is cross-functional team. You are going to learn about the cross-functional self-organizing team more in detail, but understand this team.
Gaurav, can I add something into the sprint planning part? Just 1 or 2 lines.
So I would suggest just let me finish this line, and then from there you can take ahead a few more slides as well. Yeah. So yes, so this is the team member who can say that how much effort he can put in, and then Scrum Master, or he's a kind of a coach, typically facilitates the entire sprint planning in order to ensure that discussion is effective and there is agreement. And during the sprint planning, whatever has been decided every single day, how they are communicating and how they are progressing on every single day to achieve the goal of the sprint. Yes, Prerna, over to you.
I just wanted to add something to the sprint planning part, like, what should be the duration of the sprint planning meeting? Now, that's a pretty valid question. So there is a basic maths involved in it, that it says that if your sprint is more than, it's around 4 weeks or around, more than that, which should not be rather. So for 4 weeks sprint, assuming a 1 month sprint, you should have a meeting for at least 6 to 8 hours. That is like for 1 day. Okay. So on that pro rata basis, if you have a sprint, assuming it's just a hypothetical example, assuming if you have a sprint for 1 week, that is basically 5 working days. So for the such kind of sprints, your sprint planning meeting should not go beyond 2 to 4 hours. So like 4 hours is exaggeration. It should be less than around 4 hours, 2 hours plus. So what am I trying to share here is, depending on the length of your sprint meeting takes a shape. Okay, you cannot have a discussion of 2 days for a sprint of 1 week. It's actually kind of easy to understand. If your sprint is for 4 weeks, then you really have to plan and take into consideration earlier experiences, earlier findings and learnings, and it will take time because you have to plan for upcoming 4 weeks. But assumingly, if it is a shorter sprint, then you need to ensure that your sprint planning meeting is also short and sweet, and it is up to the mark about what the expectation is. Yes, Gaurav, just wanted to add this
So thank you,
timeline
Prerna.
into the
Yes.
planning part.
So let me quickly share the experience with you. It is always seen that your sprint zero, okay, sprint zero where nothing happens, you just decide, define, and prioritize the backlog items and all. The very sprint zero may take, if your every sprint is 4 weeks long, then may take the entire day. However, the further upcoming sprint and their sprint planning does not take more than 2 to 4 hours, as Prerna was just now mentioning. So always remember that in what scenario it may take the full day. So Scrum Master, be very much aware of this, that when this can go beyond 4 hours and when cannot. We have seen this, who all are involved in the Scrum planning team. It's a Scrum Master development team which consists of managing all the done increment. So what is done, we will be also looking at the definition of done very, very soon. So Where does sprint planning team take place? So one room has to be dedicated. Scrum Master has to identify and book the room meeting well in advance. And if team is distributed, then what online tool you are using, whether it is Zoom or Google Meet, whether it has been well scheduled or not, who all are the participants, whether they have been well informed or not. So everything has to be taken care by the Scrum Master, because it comes totally onto facilitation part. Okay, and when it is going to happen, it is going to happen the very first day of the new sprint, and it should occur, this sprint planning meeting should occur after the sprint review and retrospective from the previous sprint. Okay, Disha was out, let me quickly take her in. So once a previous sprint retrospective is over and you are graduating into the new sprint, the very first thing happens is the sprint planning meeting. It does not have to occur immediately after those other two events, that was retrospective and review. You will find it's best to place a higher priority on scheduling sprint planning when the entire team is available. Of course, the Scrum Master is aware that when the entire team is available, and means who is not there, who has to be involved, he has to take all these things into the consideration and immediately plan the sprint planning meeting. You may find that it's best to have a standing consistent time for sprint planning, so that your team can keep that time slot clear from other engagement. Yes, everyone has to available, so you have to make sure that everyone is available. Okay, now quickly see. Yes, Prerna, can you just take it from here? So before you take it up, Sharda has some question. Yes, Sharda.
Yeah, sure.
I'm sorry, I didn't lower my hand.
Okay, no problem. So yeah, any question till so far here? Prajakta, Disha, Elizabeth, Radha, Ruby, Sharda, and Sneha, and yes,
No.
anyone? No? So we
No.
can proceed.
No,
Thank you
sir.
so much
Yes.
for staying tight till here. So yes, Prerna. Prerna, would you like to take from here, or I can
I'm so
continue?
sorry, I was talking on mute.
Okay,
I'm
no
so
problem.
sorry. Yeah. So I was just mentioning, as we all have realized that this is one of the very important and practical point, that why fixed length and time box sprint. So basically, when we have this sprint planning meeting or a zero sprint, or before even a project starts, we have to come to a consensus and realize that, and confirm rather, that what should be our sprint duration, so that is generally from 1 week to 4 weeks, and this is how uh, the standardized way, or I would say the popular time limits are the around the 4 weeks, because that's kind of give you a substantial amount of time. But then once you decide that it is gonna be or it is going to be consistent throughout your entire delivery process, or entire different or upcoming sprints. Why? Because it basically gives you a balance, or it gives you a consistency, that that every for every sprint you have the time limit of 4 weeks, and you can complete your particular task in hand as per priority, as per customer requirements, and within this stipulated time. It also gives you a sense of continuation and consistency, that that you have this much time in every sprint. So your planning actually happens that way, right? So you have to plan in this much what is it develop in this particular time. You can analyze along with your development. You can do your unit testing or your internal testing during this time. So you basically have all this planned in your mind, and it executes properly. That's why we have this fixed length and time box sprint, so you know what you have to finish in this particular time, and what should be the exact delivery after this. So basically you get used to this pattern, and it really works wonders, or it really works well with the delivery side of it. And more or less, typically the length or the time duration stays the same. So basically, if someone asks you an interview that, hey, can I have a first sprint of 2 weeks, and then next sprint of 4 weeks, and can I keep juggling or shuffling into this? So the right answer to this is apparently no. We have a fixed length and consistent sprints, wherein once the sprint duration is confirmed, we kind of continue with that, and there are supposedly no variations in those whatever the sprint timings, sprint duration, because that gives us the consistency of the delivery throughout the project life cycle, right? So this was what I wanted to add in here, Gaurav. Yes. So we have any next slides to go ahead, or you want to add something here?
No, Prerna. So I think you explained this slide, so we can move to the next.
Sure. Thank you.
Yeah. So, okay, fine. So Scrum planning process. So what you see here is input and what is in progress and output. So input is, of course, product backlog items. You define here, the capacity and velocity, and what is the current product status and the constraint. And those things you need to just jot them down. You need to bring in visibility, so that during sprint planning meeting you can decide what can be achieved and how and who all are going to achieve it, and thereby you just list them down as under a sprint. You can tag a sprint name, okay, or in whatever sprint you are in. So how it is
Gaurav,
struck.
just to help you around here, we do have a dedicated page for with this diagram, right? Because it is really in a very small size for I think everyone to read the internals. So
Yeah,
do we have in this particular slide? I think the earlier slide, right?
are you talking
The-
about this?
No, no, yeah, the same diagram. It is explained in a better way, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, so it is visible because you are explaining quite fine, but they are not able to. I mean, I'm also not able to read what is mentioned in those circles and all. So if you can just display that, I'll also throw some light on that. Yeah,
Okay.
slide
Uh,
number 31, I suppose.
okay, 31.
Yes, yes.
So 31, this is what is written is not visible clearly. Is it what you're
No,
saying?
33 diagram is quite smaller, even if you expand. So if we want to further discuss into it, we can go back to the 31st slide and explain. If that has been done from your end, you feel it's fine, then we can move ahead.
Yeah, that has been done. So I think any question around this, guys?
Yeah, yeah,
If
that will be
no,
good.
can we proceed further?
Yeah, guys, you have any kind of doubts
No
regarding the Scrum
questions.
planning, what
Okay, no
duration, what
question.
is the
So
contribution?
Prerna, I want you
Yeah.
to take from this slide. So can you?
I can't see. I'm on the same slide, Gaurav. That's what the problem is. I'm on the
Really?
slide 33 yet. Yeah. That's what I was trying to tell you.
Okay. Let me
I'm
reshare
still on
my.
that Y fixed length time box sprint.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm really sorry.
No,
So
no
yeah.
worries.
So how it did not move. So what we have explained till now, I'm just going to tell you.
Yeah.
Okay. So we were just explaining this. Okay. When does
Right,
sprint
right,
planning
right.
take
Yeah.
place?
We're done with this.
Yeah. And then we discuss this. Okay.
Okay.
Uh,
Checklist.
so
Yeah.
yeah. So I wanted you to explain this from here, but
Okay.
somehow,
Great. Great.
yeah.
Great. Not an issue. Yeah. So this is honestly one of my favorites of the learning and understanding part of the agile, because girls try to understand if we know what is each and every person's responsibility or their part in the agile process, the half battle is won. You're almost there. See, it's as simple as just going ahead with a typical example of any I would say typical events or functions in India or in a family. If there is a wedding per se, and you have been given responsibility, as per the ceremony. For example, if there is a marriage, to take place. Then we have our maternal uncles to do some part. We, the sisters have to be dedicated to take care of the bride and her entire, the attire and the things. And then, there's some maternal paternal uncle who will be in charge of maybe the buffet and the catering part. The brothers would be in charge of, receiving and ensuring everybody's there. So why am I giving this example is that when there is such particular event, everybody has assigned responsibility, there is a clarity of work, and everybody knows what they have to work upon and perform. So they give their best and the event is ultimately a success. So in the similar fashion, absolutely on the similar grounds, when we are in agile, everybody, starting with product owner, scrum master, development team, has to have a better understanding of what their inputs and what their responsibilities are in the process, in the project, right? So what happens, as we all know, the scrum master, I actually call him the poor chap at times. He is a servant leader. He is the person who is closely connected with the team on day-to-day basis. He's there to ensure that if they face any technical or if any other understanding level or any kind of challenges on daily basis, he's the first point of contact for every team members to go ahead. He or she is the person who schedules all kind of meetings, all kind of ceremonies. So scheduling meetings does not only mean just send a meeting invite. It starts with checking everybody's availability, checking their calendars, if there are any holidays, events, of anybody's out on a personal note. All these things, once they're available, if it is a virtual setup, like nowadays, post COVID, then then he has to ensure it's a virtual meeting like on Zooms or Teams. But if the team is physically at the same location, then he has to book a particular conference room. He has to ensure there is there's a whiteboard, there are markers, there is material available for discussion and writing. So all these things might sound quite simple or at times silly, but they are very important. Having this meeting set up in such a successful and proper manner is very essential, and that is a whole sole responsibility of a scrum master, that all the entire development team along with the product owner has to be a part of such discussions and meetings. And also, if we have such meetings, and in case if somebody is joining from a virtual on a virtual mode, then yes, we should have the video conferencing and the recording of the team, the minutes of the meetings are taken. So all this thing is a responsibility of scrum master. So along with the meeting setup and executing meeting, completion of the meetings, ensuring everybody's on the same page, he is the go-to person for entire development team and also for the product owner. So I would like to call him like he's one of the he's like a bridge between product owner and the development team, wherein though product owner is also there, but he is on a authority level, on a little senior level. So he has a lot of business and work to do with stakeholders, and at times directly with the customers or senior management. So for him to have this in depth or detailed understanding of the team, he reaches out to scrum master. Whereas a scrum team, as development team, if they have any doubts, technical understanding level, priority wise, which work to take up, how can we go about. So for that, scrum master is the go-to person for them. So this is a very important role, many a times overworked, but then that's the beauty of it, that how they handle such scenario. Because the ultimate success of the sprint, or the sprint goal achievement is the kind of crown or the victory to them. And though everybody is very important, they do have a crucial role. Scrum master especially has this added advantage or added responsibilities of keeping everyone together in this process to achieve the common goal of achieving the sprint goal. Okay, so am I clear? Do you have any doubts regarding scrum master? Please feel free to ask, please. And I do have another example to associate these roles. Yeah. So I think Disha, Radha, Prajakta, Elizabeth, Ruby, Sharda, Sneha, Tejaswini, all of you are good. Any teeny miny doubts is also fine. or else we can go to the next role. Yeah, are we good? Yes,
Yes.
sis?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you, girls. Yeah. So going back to the going ahead to product owner. So product owner is a person. I'll tell you one open secret about him. It's not a secret, but it's an open secret. So he or she is the person who manages and who handles the product backlog. Okay, we will see this in the upcoming diagrams, wherein you will know what is the product backlog actually. So basically, it's a repository of all the requirements which are more or less mentioned in the user story format, and so the managing of those requirement, prioritization of those requirement, like which has to be, which ask or which user story or which functionality has to be taken first, and how that has to be delivered, by when it has to be delivered, and what all things that we can do in a later sprint, and all these things. These list or this product backlog is managed by product owner. There are certain questions with respect to this, that typical interview questions wherein they ask you like, can we have more than one, I would say, product backlog and stuff. So the answer to this is, we can have, but it is never advisable to have product backlog, because product backlog is like your database, or it's just storage from where you keep working. So it's always good to have one centralized storage of all the requirement of all the user stories, which is easy to manage, easy to check, and easy to maintain. Okay, so this was just from interview point of view. Many a times you do get asked such questions, but the answer to them is, yes, you can have multiple product backlog, but it is never advisable, because from the maintenance and managing point of view, it is not so comfortable, and it is always recommended to have only one product backlog. Okay, so product owner's basic responsibility is to manage, ensure the product backlog items are mentioned properly, and I'm so sorry. And also he has to know well in advance that the kind of team which you are working with, the kind of team means the team has the development team and the scrum master, and overall, are they equipped to manage this current project, the sprint goals, like do they have the proper skills, so he has to be aligned with that, that everything that we are working on, the kind of skills, the timings, the resources are available, and that is what is his strength is. So he knows everybody is well equipped, and accordingly, in case if he wants to have some discussions, arguments, or bargains about the timelines and about the work with the customer, he's at a comfort zone, so he can do that. And last but not the least, we have our development team. So development team, I'll give you a quick note into this. Normally in IT, we call development team, which is consist of developers who do programming or who do coding and who actually develop the softwares. But in Agile, a development team means, or rather development team consists of developers, programmers, business analysts, testers, technical architect, subject matter SMEs, so everybody. So for us in Agile, development team means entire team who is working on the delivery, who is working from the product development point of view. So it can be a tester, it can be a BA, it can be an architect. So everybody combined together is a development team. Okay, so just to ensure that you understand this concept, I'll give you a very simple, easy to understand example. Assuming you are in your school, you are in your classroom, just go back to your memory lane and go and sit in your favorite class and in any particular standard with your best friend or with your close friends. Just be in that classroom, and then imagine your class teacher as your scrum master. Okay, why am I saying is because though you may have multiple teacher, but your class teacher definitely have a special bond and special responsibilities towards your class, like taking attendance, ensuring you have project submission done. If there are any events like picnics or any inter-school events, your class teacher is the one you reach out to, so you have a special bond, or rather a frequent connection with your class teachers, and you go back to them more or less, and for any kind of guidance or any kind of understanding or any kind of rather for any kind of important things, you go back to them or you reach out to them, and they're there for you. In this scenario, understand your headmaster or your principal, ma'am, as your product owner. So as a product owner or as a headmaster, they do have a very good understanding of overall school, what is happening in your state or in your country, maybe how the school education system is going, what all things can be included in your syllabus, or what all courses you should have. But then as a student, you not always reach out to product owner directly. Yeah, you may, whenever there is some important incidents you want to, or other you want to add something, or you want to share some highlights from other schools, from some particular events to them. But mostly you reach out more to your scrum master, and then as well as the principal or the product owner reaches out to your class teacher often and connects with them to know the progress of the students, to know how the class is doing. So this is a very simple example for you to correlate how the relationship is here. Though everybody is working towards the same goal of achieving, the best possible marks or best passing percentage. So similar way in our Scrum, the entire team is working towards this goal of achieving the Scrum goal and delivering it to the customer. But then everybody has different set of responsibilities. Okay. So do you have any doubts in this? Please feel free to ask if you have any confusions. Yeah. Sharda has raised her hand. Yeah, Sharda.
So from the example what you've said, it's like, does the Scrum Master always talk in favor of the development team? Is that what it goes?
Okay, okay. Now let me rather it's a good question, but let me kind of give you an explanation with the help of example only. So suppose there is a situation where the class is not behaving fine, they are just behaving like a fish market and shouting and not disciplined at all, and then the principal comes in, and they ask the class teacher, hey, what is this, how are they behaving? What do you think the class teacher would do? Should the class teacher take their side and say, no, no, they are fine, it's just one time, or they're just having their time and all? Or the class teacher should take a stand and say, no, they are not behaving fine, let me check with them. This doesn't often happen, so I need to check, and I ensure that they're disciplined. And else, on another scenario, when the class room or the class achieves some prizes in inter-school competition, or or they are very disciplined, and they have some ask, or they want to have some extra activity, or they have some extra period for their maybe physical PE session, or they want to have some 15 minutes grace for their once an hour for their games timings or stuff like that. And if they're doing everything fine, then even then the teacher can have the liberty, or she can actually have that I would say added advantage to give to them, because they're already performed well. So do you understand this difference, Sharda? If the scrum team or the development team is on the right track, they're working fine, they're delivering properly, then definitely scrum master will help out, reach out to them in case if there is some they require some holidays, or some leaves for some particular serious or important reason, then that is taken care of and all. But then if they are not developing and working fine, if there are slagging and there are some quality issues, then definitely not. So to answer your question, there is definitely no favoritism, but yes, depending on, see, we are in a very professional setup, so all
It's
these
not like
things, yeah.
favoritism. I'm curious. It's like,
Mhm.
does he support development team like rather than
Definitely, he does
speaking?
support the development team, but that depends on what basis. If development teams need some clarification and some discussion with the customer with respect to some requirement and all, if they are right, then definitely. But in case if development team is just being lazy, or just trying to take undue advantage at times, then definitely not. So he is, so see, Scrum Master, to be very honest, such a great role wherein they have the visibility of overall project and they have the experience of working with such people. So they know how to handle situation. So yes, to answer your question, he or she does support the team in their critical times to achieve the sprint goal or to achieve the project delivery, right? So the motive remains constant. So to achieve that, everyone works together as a family or as a team. Does this answer your question, Sharda?
Yeah.
And
Another a kind of question, like it might be silly, but I'm curious to know about
Sure,
that
sure,
too.
please.
If suppose there have been some issues in the development team, like between the team members,
Right, right.
so would that be the responsibility of the Scrum Master to solve and set the things right, or will someone pop out there to settle the things, or how does that go?
so
Okay.
can I quickly chime
So
in, Prerna, or you want to answer?
yeah, I'll give my
Yeah.
thoughts and then definitely you can add on for sure. Thank you, Gaurav. So see, I'll tell you, first of all, though this is a very separate and I would say highly focused setup. When we talk about agile team, when we talk about development team, there are some things that you all have to remember that this team is very closely knit. They trust each other a lot. They work very closely. They are very supportive of each other. So there are, I'm not saying no, but there are quite rare instances of this happening. But even in such a scenario, if such conflict of interest or some arguments happen, I have the confidence that they themselves are quite responsible and mature enough to handle. But even in such case, if that doesn't work, then definitely Scrum Master. But that doesn't mean for every small argument or discussion we'll have to go to Scrum Master. The team is well equipped itself. Yeah, that's it from my side. Gaurav, would you like to add something to this, please?
Yeah, so quickly, I before I add, let me ask all of you, like Prajakta, Disha, Elizabeth, and Radha, Ruby, and Sneha Tejaswini. Are you following what Sharda has asked the question? Everyone.
Yes, yes.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you. Thank you. So let me ask Sharda in this way. Say, for example, you have got a child, okay, and your child, he is trying to crawl, he is trying to walk, and you see some roadblocks are there, some blocks are there. He is visible. What he is doing is visible, and the moment you see the roadblocks or some hurdles in between his path, what you are going to do?
I'll just go clear the way for the kid.
Yeah. So what did you do? Did you support him or her, or you did not?
It's like supporting.
Exactly, you supported, right? And the
Yeah.
moment you have got two kids, they are fighting with each other. Again, this is visible to you. Okay. They come back and they complain to you that mom, he is just teasing me, or she is teasing me. How you are going to respond to it?
We try to settle the things
Because they are your
between them.
child, right? Because
Yeah.
they are your child, definitely. And by resolving this conflict, what you are doing, are you supporting them?
Of course.
Yes. So the answer is there in itself. So by doing these activities, by knowing, you have to up on your toes and knowing every single person how they are progressing, and if they are not progressing the way they are expected, why exactly they are not. You have to facilitate them to take out all the information from them. If something is going good, let it go. But if something is not turning good, why it is not turning good? You need to identify those bottleneck and impediments, and you have to make sure it has to be removed. That's your job as a Scrum Master. Did I answer you?
Yeah, got it.
Thank you so much. Let's move quickly forward. So as a Prerna, you have explained development team. Can I move to the next slide, or you want to add something? Because you asked for the question. So yeah, Prerna had asked for the question. I think she would be speaking on mute somehow. So
No,
yeah.
no, no. Actually, no. I was listening.
Okay.
No, Gaurav, I'm fine, and I think the sprint planning checklist.
Yeah. So
the
one
job
quick
done.
thing I just wanted to tell, that when sprint planning happens, is product owner responsibility to define define what definition of readiness of a product backlog item. Okay, so if a definition of ready exists for the team, they know what they are going to do, and then development team has to be aware with the definition of done. Okay, so two important things that you are going to learn soon: what is definition of done and what is definition of readiness, also known as DOD and DOR. DOR is definition of readiness and DOD is definition of done. So yes, that's the responsibility of development team. So once that is done, let's quickly move. I have explained that what is the input, output, and sprint planning. So this is what you look at is the input, and this is what is the output. A crystal clear actionable goal is visible. What action item you are going to achieve at the end, by who will contribute into achieving that, what and how you are going to achieve, and what exactly you are going to achieve is well defined. But these items comes into the visibility only from the product backlog item, and you know their capacity velocity for almost every product backlog item. As I said, I'll be releasing a video based on this, so that you will be having more clarity on capacity, velocity, and story point. Okay, so yes, so after this, what exactly happens, we are going to also understand the scope. You must be crystal clear with the scope. The team selects what to be delivered and what not to be delivered. Okay, so that's the reason it is also called as scope. The team selects which items from a prioritized list. What is the word? Prioritized list. You must remember. So can you just tell what is the word?
Prioritized.
Exactly, you are right. So prioritize list of ready product backlog item. They focus, they will be able to complete during the sprint. And here is a simple agenda for the first part of sprint planning. What is the goal for the sprint? Must be clear. Use this as a decision filter to determine which product backlog item to include in the sprint. Based on this question only, you can prioritize it. What product backlog items are ready and contribute toward the sprint goal? So some product backlog items which are related to the current one has to be prerequisite, and you are making sure they are ready. And few can be the post demand, and you are making sure that is in line as a next next product backlog item. So now another question you may ask: who is available for this sprint? Identify any vacations, holiday, other activities that will impact everyone's availability during the sprint. And even considering this, your sprint roadmap gets ready. Okay, so what is the team's capacity based on everyone's availability, you know, so that you can define a certain hours, that within these hours these items can be completed. Okay, so if you know that every sprint at least takes 19 hours to be completed. Okay, every sprint I'm talking about, not a single task. So collectively it takes this much hours. So you know, you can anticipate that even further, or even this sprint should not go beyond this, because you know the average based on the previous sprint. So say for example, you are in sprint 1, 2, 3, and you saw that it took around say for example, every team member contributed for uh, um, every single day 6 hours. 6 hours means actual work done. Okay, 2 hours consider they just spent on meetings. Okay, so 6 hours by 5 people. Say for example, your team consists of 5 people, and they worked every single day for 6 hours for 10 days. Okay, how many hours they work? 60 hours they work. Okay, for 10 days. And say for example, your sprint is only for 2 sprint means 10 days, means 5 working days. Okay, are you following whatever I am telling just now? Yeah, everyone. Yeah, so 6 hours for 10 days becomes 60 hours, and 5 members means 300 hours. Okay, so you are knowing that 2 weeks of sprint generally takes 300 hours, and not beyond that. So even 300 hours, say for example, sprint 1 took, sprint 2 takes 280 hours, and sprint 3 took around 240 hours. Even though you anticipated it won't go beyond to 300 hours, you see in general it takes around the average of all three, which is also called as velocity. Okay, so it is also judged based on the story point. Say for example, 300 hours will have certain story point. And now what is story point? We will be talking about this later again, otherwise it will not clarify at deeper level. But the average of previous 3 sprint effort will be calculated, and you will anticipate the upcoming sprint will take how many hours maximum. Okay, and to identify such things, you need to understand that what is when holiday is coming. As a scrum master, you should be knowing, and who is going on the leave. Everything has to be calculated so that you can quote an anticipated or relative timeline to your customer. Okay, so that is also called as relative estimate. So what is the team's capacity based on everyone's availability? You are aware the capacity is calculated in the hours. That's just now I explained. What items will the team include on the sprint backlog based on the sprint goal and the team's capacity? Okay, so priorities list is there in front of you. How confident does the team feel that they will be able to meet the sprint goal? We will be soon talking about self-organizing team. So self-organizing team, they themselves volunteer based on the understanding that what they can pick up. Sometime you will find that some dev team says that, hey, I'll be going to work on this candidate, so I can work on it. So it is not product owner who will be assigning the task. So it is your responsibility as a scrum team, as a development team, or as a BA tester developer, just to volunteer that on what task you think that you can work. Otherwise, more explanation task will be the part of scrum master as well as business owner jointly. They will the discussion will be arranged to bring more clarity on your table. Does it make sense? Whatever just now I said, the scope is very, very much clear. Is it clear for every one of you guys? Are you with me, everyone? So you can shout out yes if it is, and that took with confidence. And you can
Yes.
undergo this once again if you feel so. So now the part 2 of this sprint planning is the plan. The team discuss in more detail how they will deliver the selected product backlog item that has been prioritized. Okay, so this may include identifying tasks for the product backlog item. Task, the broken down product backlog item into user story, and then user story broken down into the task. Okay, whether there are any dependency between the items and signing up for the initial product backlog items that each team member works on. So as I said earlier, that prerequisite is very, very much clear, that before picking this particular product backlog item, the earlier one has been addressed. When? Because it has been taken into the consideration based on the priority. Okay, so you understand the part of plan as well, that what is the relativity of this, how it is related, everything has to be considered, and based on that you select any further discussion is required or not, and the scrum master and BA jointly plans any further clarification call with the customer in case at all needed. To explain them further, what you need to understand, this is the product owner. Can you see them? I understand that you won't be able to. Let me reshare my screen so that it will be very, very much clear to you. So yeah, I'm going to this mode. Yeah, so this
Yeah,
you
it
see.
is clear.
Yeah, so it's visible, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. So what you see, how planning a project release works. So you have a set of product backlog item, product owner is responsible for this. Then you decide that sprint planning is every single day you are working for 6 to 8 hours. You can exclude the meeting time. Scrum Master is making sure that the development team is at work. Okay, and they are only working on the sprint backlog item. And what happens, they starts with daily scrum, what they did yesterday, what they are planning to do today, and if any impediments they identify, they analyze the build, and they make sure that its testing is done, acceptance criteria has been met. Okay, and then the sprint review has been done. Here you see that a sprint review does not go beyond 2 to 4 hours. Okay, when sprint review, sprint retrospective does not go beyond 1 to 3 hours. Okay, I just took the average and said it should not be, it can be summarized between 90 minutes, but yeah, it can go up to 3 hours as well. And daily scrum I just explained. So once your sprint review is done and then it is shipped, okay, these are the same item which has been picked up, okay, over here, and it is ready to be shipped. So when we are shipping it, we also call it, we are deploying it at customer's location. What is the keyword? What we do? We deploy it. What is the keyword, guys? Girls?
Deployment.
Yes, deployment.
Deployed.
Yes, you must remember this because you will be experiencing this soon. So this is what the same framework is there. Project vision is product backlog item. You are planning the complete release. Release dates can be visible, should be visible to you. Then you plan it and identify the sprint planning, and then you continue to implement. And in daily scrum, you discuss. And then once it is ready, you find it, you demo it out, and then you have a retrospective, but just a retrospective, you demoed it out, and it has been accepted by the client. You mark it done, and you deploy it and come back and have the retrospection. Okay, so this is one thing. And yeah, so let me go back into non-presentation mode so that I can have visibility on the other items as well. So yes, sprint planning where how is clear, who is clear, and where is clear. Means what? How means the development team plans the work necessary to deliver the sprint goal. Ultimately, the resulting sprint plan is negotiation between the development team and product owner based on the value and effort. So they know that how you are going to achieve to the goal. Okay, if any certain requirement is there, like a certain tools are required, like sometime some API, some interface is required. So are you enabling, or have you identified as a team and you have discussed and you have just shared with the product owner the requirement of that, and he has made sure that it is available to you? You cannot do sprint planning without the product owner or the development team. Of course, this is understood because they have to work, they should know what they are going to work upon. The product owner defines the goal based on the value that they seek from the development team. Value they seek from the customer. The development team needs to understand how they cannot deliver the goal. Okay, it should be very, very much clear to you. And for that, what is going to happen? You will come up with bot. When this is getting discussed, you girls will come up with bot. You have to understand the goal. Product owner knows it. He is going to define it. So while he is going to define it, you need to know what exactly at the end you are going to deliver. To understand this, only product owner is knowing the goal and he is trying to articulate, but at the same time, you are going to come up with lot of any answer?
Questions.
Exactly. You said it right. You will come up with a lot of questions and ask a lot of questions so that you must be clear cut. Your job should be clear that what exactly you want to achieve. So if either is missing from the event, product owner or development team, this event, it makes planning the sprint almost impossible. So that's the key point. So understand it. And your question makes things easy. So the input is a great starting point for the sprint plan is the product backlog, as it provide a list of stuff that could potentially be part of the current sprint. The team should also look at the existing work done in the increment and have a view to capacity. So that's the input. Means in nutshell, the items, backlog items, the candidates are the input, and output are the same candidate which has been taken into consideration during the planning. So the most important outcome for the sprint planning meeting is that the team can describe the goal of the sprint and how they will start working toward the goal. This is made visible in the backlog item. Soon I'll be also showcasing you Jira, a Kanban board and all, but understand how does it flow. So this is your product owner taking care of product backlog item. This is your team. You are discussing and planning the meet. You are defining the goal, and the team is with the flag is trying to achieve to be over there. So, any question till here? Everyone, are you still awake? So, Prajakta, Disha, Radha, Elizabeth, Ruby,
Yes.
and
Yes.
Sneha, Tejaswini,
Yes.
and Sharda. Okay, cool. Thank you for responding. So, yes, so you need to know before sprint part, there is sprint planning meeting. The length of the sprint planning meeting is proportional to the length of the sprint. That's what Prerna was mentioning earlier. A 4-week sprint should be planned in no more than 8 hours. A 1 big sprint should be planned in no more than 2 hours. And then you will calculate the average, you will identify it should not go beyond 2 to 4 hours. Okay. So as I said, the 8 hours can be experienced for 4-week sprint. And generally it happens for sprint number 0. This meeting determines what the goals are for that sprint based on the team velocity. A set of features are pulled from the top of the product backlog to the sprint backlog for the coming sprint. Okay, so on this, I'll try to make sure the release video today itself. So this will be a quick explanation on the velocity. How do you calculate that? So what all are there? So again, this is the pictorial representation. Everything at the end becomes the task, actionable item. So that is your sprint backlog. So you identify what all the tasks you need to achieve, and that is the result of sprint planning meeting, is the result of the user story. That is the part of product backlog items from your to-do list. Okay, so Sneha has raised hand. Yes, Sneha, ask me. Sneha, you
Sir,
have
I want
question.
to yes, sir, I want to ask that the user story is written by only the product owner or business analyst, or anybody can from the Scrum team can write this user story.
Ideally, it's a business analyst responsibility. They break it down into user story, not anyone else. Okay, product backlog item is a high level requirement. It is known to product owner. He defines it in the board or into project management system or task management system. Okay, he defines one liner. We have to develop a cash dispensing module for a banking system. Okay, and now you will
Yeah.
understand in what scenario it will happen. You lot of thinking will go, lot of question answer will go with the stakeholders, and then you will come up for this item multiple user story. Your user story will be understood by other team member, the functionality, and you have also assigned them the task. Okay, and you will link these tasks with the user story, and the user story will be linked with the product backlog item. Did I answer you, Sneha?
Yes, so the product owner and the business analyst can will write the user story
No,
and summarize.
no. User story is going to be written by business analyst. Okay. Product backlog item can be written as product owner as well as business analyst, both or either of them.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. So yeah, let's move further and no. So during the sprint, what happens? No features are added. Sharda, your question initially you asked. No features are added and the sprint goals don't change. The only exception to this is if the team finishes a sprint early, they can work on it with the again consent of product owner. So this is over here. Daily stand up in a sprint, daily scrum, also known as the daily stand-up or daily scrum, during which team members synchronize the effort. They talk about all those 3 things. Daily scrum enable team members to ensure the right things are being worked on by the right people at the right time. And here you see the sprint planning. Every morning of the sprint, our sprint, the project team gets together for short daily stand-up meeting under 15 minutes. This meeting takes place at the same time every day and includes, we have discussed this, okay? Again, we have discussed what are these three simple questions. So yes, we can move further and we can see Scrum meeting. These three questions allow for complete transparency. Why we answer and tell these questions? It is not just to give the answer. Are you following everyone? But why do we answer these? Any quick insight anyone want to bring? Why do we answer what did we do and what we are planning to do, and in case of any impediments are there? So any quick
Visibility
insight?
If we are
or
progressing in the right direction.
clarity?
Visibility, progress, to understand progress and clarity. Three keywords I quickly identified from all of you who spoke. So yes, you all are right. So that's the answer. Thank you so much for answering. So yes, you all are right, to make things clear, to understand the progress, and make it more visible for all of the team member together. Okay, and the result of this meeting are typically shared with the client. Daily communication, make sure that if something is holding up the team, they can get a response quickly and see how it is written. This is what I have done since we last made. This is the actual answer. Okay, this is what I am planned to do today, and these are the obstacle I have encountered. Now, this is a very important question. You are working in a different time zone, so when you are finishing off, other team might be starting off. So that time you have to come up with what you did yesterday. So sometime what happens, half part you have done already in a day, and half part you will be doing when your other team is starting at the different location. Okay, so how you are going to do? You are going to tell, this is what I have achieved till now, and this is what I am going to achieve till we are going to meet next. Does it clear to you how you are going to respond when geographically located team members are there and you are working with them? Is it clear, everyone?
Yes.
Thank you so much for your answers. So you need to practice. When I ask the question, is it clear? You should showcase, because you are not visible, that I am awake. And I understand this is night over there, but still you need to keep on confirming us. So yes, so this I have shown you the product backlog items taking the shape of sticky notes, that is the on the Kanban board. Kanban board, we will be talking about it later. Again, a board which showcase you what is to do, what is in progress, and what is done. Is it clear for quickly know what is Kanban?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. On that, in to do and in progress and done, you will always find that sticky notes when goes into some ticket management tool or project management tool. So that there also it is called as not sticky note but ticket or candidate, and these candidates will be prioritized, pulled down one by one, and handful of them in the sprint backlog item. They keep on getting completed one by one, and they pass further against the acceptance criteria, and you just keep on marking them done, 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 done. Okay, and this is how your Scrum sprint gets completed and go further. So understand this. We have discussed this all, I think, as short as few days and as long as so this is about the what is sprint. So any questions so far, guys? Prerna, do you want to add anything? You can definitely. Let me go back.
Sir.
Yes, Gaurav, I would suggest today we have shared a lot of
Yeah,
chunks.
I loaded really.
No, not loaded. They were all interrelated. So it's good that we are in the flow. So I didn't interrupt you either. So I think we should give them some time to rewatch this video,
Definitely.
learn about what we just discussed in detail when they are in a quiet time, just while maybe driving or working or just lying around. Please rewatch this video. It will give you a better understanding of what we discussed right now. So I think we should end here today.
Yeah. So I was hearing some sound. Someone wanted to ask some question. So please go ahead.
Yes, sir. So, sir, what is the actual difference between like the acceptance criteria and the definition of done?
Okay. So can you hold this question till we come there? So in few days we will be reaching out there. Okay.
Okay.
So no worries. So any other question, guys or girls? Okay, all girls. So no question. So
No
fine.
questions.
So I know that I have been really working as a or delivering in very rapid way. I understand you heard and listened. So Ruby, because I was talking to you, okay, I was talking to you.
Yes, sir.
Let me ask you that what did you feel entirely? Did you learn today? And if you learn today, what do you feel like saying? How you are feeling right now? What you need to do, or what's your feeling right now?
So, sir,
One
I've
word.
been like going through a few like YouTube, videos regarding this. So I've been like revising everything again and again and again. And then, so I was able to relate to like what you're saying. But yeah, I had just some fine like questions, about what happens in the real world. And that, of course, I asked you all. So yeah, I mean, it just feels good.
Okay, feels good. Thank you so much. And repetition is the keyword I just understood from you. So call out someone's name on the screen. You see
Disha?
Disha. Yes, Disha. What do you feel like saying, Disha?
Yeah, I feel like I'm getting more confident.
Wow, that's brilliant to know. Thank you so much, Disha, for speaking this up. Disha, call out someone's name on the screen, please.
Sharda?
Hey, Sharda. Yes, what do you feel like saying, Sharda?
Today's class seemed to be more interactive session.
It seems to be more interactive. Okay, thank you, Sharda. So, Sharda, call out someone's name on the screen, you see?
Prajakta.
Prajakta. Prajakta, what do you feel like saying, Prajakta?
Yeah, it's like I just can say I learn more about the sprint planning and the role of the Scrum Master.
Oh, cool. Are you also feeling confident? Because there, I saw it is not there in your voice. So, are you feeling
Yeah,
confident while learning?
I'm not, because I have really very bad headache today. So
Oh,
it's
okay,
like,
okay. Please take care and have a
yeah,
good sleep after the class. Prajakta, call out
yeah.
someone's name on the screen, please.
It's Elizabeth.
Eliza. So, Elizabeth, what do you feel like saying? You are talking on mute, Elizabeth. So, Elizabeth, you there? So, I think I did not hear from you while talking, Elizabeth. So, okay. So, if Elizabeth is not responding, I would go back to her friend Ruby. Call out someone else's name on the screen. You see,
Sneha?
Sneha. Sneha, what do you feel like saying, Sneha?
Very insightful today.
Thank you. Insightful is the word. Call out someone's name on the screen. You see,
Radha.
Radha. What do you feel like saying, Radha?
My keyword is for today's session is the sprint.
Sprint is the keyword, and feeling word.
Yeah, confident.
Confident. Thank you so much, Radha. And call out someone's name on the screen, please.
Tejashwini.
Tejaswini. Yes, Tejaswini. What do you feel like saying?
Thanks, Radha. Introduction to new concepts, more into in depth of the topic. Kind of overwhelming, but at the same time confident.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much, Tejaswini, for being honest. And yeah, call out someone's name on the screen. Who's left?
Prerna.
Prerna. Yes, Prerna ji. What do you feel like saying?
Yes, thank you so much, Tejaswini. I really liked her comment, which she said it's overwhelmed, but yes, at the same time, confident. So that is the key, guys. We all understand these are new concepts, but if you correlate them with your day-to-day life, with your own experiences, you all will definitely realize that you have been living in agile model, especially being women, managing so many things at home and house front and kids and family and in-laws. We have been working in agile. The only thing was nobody ever correlated that with us. So slowly and gradually we learn into that. And thank you so much for your participation, your right and intelligent question. And please do not feel that your questions are silly or I should ask or I should not. Please go ahead and interrupt us then and there and get your understanding clear. We are here for that. And my regular and sincere request to please rewatch this video. Listen to this video preferably whenever you in your spare time, whenever you're traveling or when you're alone, because during the session what happens, you're engaged, you're talking, you're listening, you might be writing, many things you're doing at once. But when you listen, when you're quiet, it really gives you a better understanding of what you already know. So that's my request. And all in all, a super interesting and very, very informative session. Gaurav, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prerna. So yes, I have a request to Ruby. Just speak up with Elizabeth, because I did not see her response today, and summaries are pending from her, from Prajakta and Disha as well. So, but Ruby, you can speak to Elizabeth. So
Sure.
thank you so much. So rest of you, if you have not been summarizing, this is the right time. Start pitching it up, start scaling up, and you will see that you will start not only getting noticed by the Guru Schools team member, but also other stakeholders through which whom you might be picked up to start working with them. And that's the reason summary is the starting point for that. So thank you so much for your participation and still responding to me, making sure that you are all the time awake when we are delivering this training, and this training has to be your experience as a project. So thank you so much. We will talk once again on Sunday night, 9:30 p.m. And till then, if you can sum it up and come back with the summary before time, we can definitely provide you the quick feedback. So Sneha, really great. Sneha has left. Okay, Sneha had done a fantastic job. She had created a very wonderful video lately. So I really love the way she presented. So if you can also do in that way, that's okay. Even if you don't want to do in that way, you can
Gaurav, I have
definitely
a
improve.
suggestion. We should actually have a dedicated round of applause from upcoming sessions, wherein people who have, have it put in efforts and created really nice presentation on Jira or understanding or overall. So we should acknowledge them more. That's what I feel. So today is fine. We
So
just
Sneha
finish.
has just come back.
Yes,
So
yes.
let's do it now.
Just have a
Okay.
round. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So this is for you, Sneha. We were just talking and you missed it. Okay.
Very nice, Neha. Very, very well done. Yeah.
Yeah. So we were talking about the way you presented your summary. Okay. So thank you
I
so much.
missed it. Oh God,
Yeah.
no.
So you
I,
can catch up in the recording as well. Last few
thank
minutes.
you.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my God, this laptop
Okay.
ditch me.
So thank you so much,
Welcome,
everyone. You have been
yeah,
awesome. Yeah.
yeah. Thank you so much, and we welcome such videos and such presentations. So you all are open to such ideas, and thank you so much once again.
So
Good night.
one last thing from Sharda. Sharda is there. No, not
Yeah,
Sharda was.
yeah.
Yeah. So yes, Sharda, thank you so much for your videos as well. So I think last video, not much video have come, but I somehow I find that your videos are really amazing. So good summary. Keep bringing more such inputs. Okay, that is not only for you but also for your visibility and also for others to know that how should be put a benchmark. So basically for you it will be benefited for your visibility. So more of your such video will be uploaded on YouTube. You are going to see soon. Okay, thank you so much, Sharda. So let's have a round of applause for Sharda as well. Thank you so much, and I won't take much time. We are just past the threshold. Thank you so much. Good night, everyone. Bye bye. Take care.
Good night. Take care. Bye bye. See you.